Welcome to the Sisterhood Tea Party, where we get together weekly to discuss all the tea about life, relationships, pop culture, and generally anything you chat about with your best friend over a cup of tea or beverage of choice.
We're your hosts, Stephanie and Jessica, and we've been spilling the tea to each other for more than a decade now. And now we're ready to invite the rest of you to the tea party.
In today's episode, we are spilling the tea about friendship breakups. We'll be breaking down when it might be time for a friendship breakup, the different types of friendship breakups, and all the feelings that come along with them.
And a quick plug before we get started, if you like what you hear today, you can follow at Sisterhood Tea Party on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
So let's get to sipping first with what's top of mind for us this week.
Well, girl, top of mind, the State Fair of Texas.
Okay. Okay.
So it's funny because I've lived in Texas now for, 10 years now. And it has been. When I moved to Dallas, that was the thing, was the state fair. Every year everyone's like, you need to go to the state fair. And I didn't go for the first few years that I lived there. First time I went there, I went on a date, ended up terrible, but that's a separate story.
Experience first as a date, love it.
Yep. And we will not talk about that. We'll talk about it in a separate podcast. But the last couple of times I've gone with friends, and it's just been the best experience. So that has been now my fall tradition for spooky season, is to get a big group of girls together and we just go to the state fair.
I love that.
Yes.
So wait, what's your favorite part about the state fair? Like, do you go for the music, for the food, for the rides? Maybe there's other things there I'm not familiar with because I don't live in Texas.
Right. So many things. We have like main stage like performers. So Lil Jon is going to be at the state fair this year.
Yeah.
So
how do we adjust the mic to have the audio?
Literally. So, but there's that one aspect there, but there's amazing food that comes out, and it's like deep fried food, like deep fried Oreos and just funnel cake, corn dogs. You have to get a corn dog from Fletcher's. Like that is like, you have to get one.
Delicious.
And then drinks, all the vibes. It's just a fun experience. And you have to get a picture with Big Tex.
Wait,
Big Tex is this giant statue thing that they bring in every year. And I mean, it is like,
what is it?
It's a statue of Big Tex. He's a man.
It's a man. It's a person.
Well, yes.
I didn't know if it was like a cow or something.
No. It's definitely a person.
I don't know, a giant like fried corn on the cob or something.
Right. You might as well be at this point. But yes, and it's just a thing. Oh. So very excited about that. We're going.
I feel like this is like the Coachella of Texas.
like
People take a picture in front of like the wheel or whatever, like
that's
the Ferris
true.
wheel. They take a picture with Big Tex.
That is actually true. They take a picture in front of Big Tex, the Midway, and like in front of the Ferris wheel, and call it a day.
Yeah.
And if you got to get a corn dog, check, you're done for the day.
Okay.
But I'm going to try and eat as much fried food without getting sick as possible.
Wait, when is this?
So it actually starts. It started today, the 23rd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, we're pre-recording.
Pre-recording.
Yeah.
So it already started today, and it goes through towards the end of October. So
it's a long one.
It's a long, like 3.5 weeks, I think.
Wow.
So very excited to like get a group of us and just have the best time. And we also go early in the morning.
Okay.
So pro tip, go early in the morning to beat the crowds, even though there'll be people there still, but it's less aggressive at 10 o'clock in the morning versus 2 p.m.
Okay, yeah, because then you got lines and it's
lines, schools out, things like that.
Got it.
Yes, girl. Speaking of spooky season.
Yeah, that's my top of mind is spooky season.
Yeah.
I am a Halloween girly. Actually, my birthday is Halloween. I know you didn't know this, but
yes,
my birthday is Halloween. So I've been celebrating Halloween literally my entire life because like when I was a kid, my birthday party would even be like Halloween themed. So like it's always been my thing. So I'm very excited about spooky season. I already am planning to go to a haunted house, which I will have already gone by the time we post this, but very excited for haunted houses. Also going to do a spooky photo shoot. I did this last year with some of my friends, and we did like a witch themed one. This year we're doing kind of like serial killer vibes, like old Thrasher movie serial killer vibes. Very excited for that. We also did a ghost one last year, which was a lot of fun, which I've posted on TikTok. And then what else? Like pumpkin patches.
Yeah.
Also, I live in Colorado, obviously, right now, and the leaves turning colors in Colorado is truly beautiful. So I'm also going to do like the train ride to see the leaves turn colors again. Just like
that is beautiful.
Everything spooky season, everything fall. I'm obsessed with. Like I'm in my era.
This is your spooky season era. And I know that you also on TikTok have shared
Yeah.
ideas about what to do during spooky season here in the area.
I have in the Denver area. I posted some things that I've done in the past. Only 5. Like there's like a million things you can
Right.
do, but like I did post about them. One of them has already passed now, the Scottish Irish Festival, which is really spooky, but it's fall. It was a lot of fun, really good vibes. Yeah, lots to do. I might end up making another one with more things to do because I feel like so many people were also suggesting other
Yeah.
ideas in the comments. So stay tuned. I'm sure I'll post more, but yeah.
Yes, I think you
lots-
should, because
yeah.
I personally love going on to TikTok and seeing like things to do in Dallas and things like
Yeah.
that. So I think you definitely should.
Yeah. Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Yeah, so speaking of spooky season and ghosts and things like that, let's talk about friendship ghosting. Too cheesy? Too cheesy? Okay, aka today's tea, which is friendship breakups. Yeah, let's dig into it.
Let's
Friendship
dive in.
breakups. Not
Oof.
always easy,
No,
but also in a way healing. We talked about self-love last
we
time. It
did.
is a form of self-love to break
It
up with
is,
people.
because I also talked about it too, breaking up with people, removing yourself from people who just no longer serve you
Yes.
and take care of you. Like, you need to have good people in your life. And when you realize that in a friendship breakup where you feel like it's one-sided, you feel like you've put in everything and you're not getting that from the other person, it's time.
Yes,
You have to let it go.
that's like when to break up, right? It's
Yeah.
like, this person's values or life stage or treatment of you personally, potentially, like is
Yes.
no longer aligning with what you want and deserve and need at that place and where you are in your life too.
I agree.
Like for me, I think friendship breakups usually have like come down to like exactly that. Like either we're not in the same place right now and it's not like this big thing, but it's
Mhm.
just fading and like it's just not we're just not I'm not going to put over all of this effort if I'm not getting that same effort back.
Yeah.
Or like straight up just don't like how I'm being treated, just like straight up, and I'm like not okay with that,
Yeah.
for whatever the treatment is.
Right.
It's not serving me, like you said.
Exactly. Like, there are so many different instances I can think of where a friendship has ended, but it has just faded, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't anything significantly crazy or out of pocket. It was just two different stages, like you mentioned. I've been through friendships where I remember we were very close and we would visit each other, and then just one day you stop texting, you
Yeah.
stop calling, and you stop doing all of these things. And you find yourself a couple years later thinking like, oh, where are they? Like, I hope
Yeah,
they're doing
what
well, but
happened?
like nothing terrible happened. You're probably still on decent terms, but life got in the way, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah. And I think with those ones too, like I think they're really common at where we are in life
I
right
agree.
now,
Yeah.
right? Like we're in our 30s, and there are different people at different stages of life. Like we've talked about this. Like a
Mhm.
lot of our friends are married with kids. A lot of our friends are just married with no kids. Even that is like two different things. A
Absolutely.
lot of people aren't married and are single. A lot of people are maybe like single with kids. Like all of those like put you into different stages of
Mhm.
life that just sometimes can make it where you're not necessarily as close as you were when you were in that same stage, because we naturally gravitate towards people who are going through the same stuff as us.
Exactly. It's easier to relate to them, easier to have these different conversations with. And not to say that like you can't have those conversations with people in different stages, but like
Totally.
sometimes two different people in two different stages, they're consumed with other parts of their life that like they
Yeah.
just don't come together.
Yeah.
And it, for whatever reason, it just ends.
Yeah.
You and I are different though,
Oh, yeah.
because
You still have some of those friendships that push through, but I would even argue that
Yeah.
even our friendship has ebbed and flowed,
I
where
think
there's
so.
times where we talk a lot and then times where we don't talk as much. And like,
Yes,
just because we don't live near each other and we're busy people, right?
we are. And at the same time though, but we know the value of our friendship and we've put in
Yes.
the effort.
Facts.
So even though that we have gone through those ebb and flows of like maybe months where we didn't really talk much, we still were keeping up with each other. We were still hyping each other up in the DMs. And
That's the big thing.
that is the biggest thing. Being your biggest cheerleader and supporter goes such a long way.
Because then that's the other kind of breakup.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's the I'm done.
The I'm done breakup. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think are a lot harder.
They are a lot harder.
They're the I mean, you can still end them quietly, though I tend to have not gone with grace in those kinds of
Which
friendships.
again, you were at a different stage in life when that happened.
Yes.
And I don't you shouldn't regret the way that you handled that.
I don't regret it. No, I
Yeah.
don't regret it. But like these are the breakups where you don't feel like you're getting what you're giving.
Mhm.
You feel like, for me at least, it was like, hey, I'm not really getting anything actually out
Yeah.
of this friendship. I'm not being asked how I'm doing. You're clearly not somebody I feel like I can confide in anymore for X, Y, and Z reason.
Yeah.
And I just, like, I've honestly, most of my friendship breakups have been this kind of breakup where it's
Wow.
like, hey, can we stop being fake here? Like, can we stop pretending this is going well? Because
Yeah.
I'm not happy. Maybe you are, and you're just clueless to how I feel. But like, this,
Well, they didn't take
I'm
the
done.
time to ask you.
That.
So that's why they're like, "Oh, everything's all fine," because they're living in their la la land
Yes.
instead of checking in on their friend who's like clearly struggling right now.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Even if it's not struggling,
Yeah,
sometimes it's even like they don't even celebrate your wins.
your wins.
That's an issue.
That is, oof,
Like,
girl.
it
Mm,
is 2023. If you are viewing all of my stuff and you're claiming to be my good friend and you are not supporting any of my stuff,
yeah.
mm.
Yeah, we got to talk about that one. I mean, it's the silent haters for me.
Oh, the silent haters.
Come on.
Like, we
Like
notice.
we see it all.
Yeah.
Like I know who's a real one and who's just like waiting to see what happens next. And it's
Yes.
like want something to talk about instead of like cheering me on.
Facts.
Mm-mm.
And then it's worse when you talk to someone and they're like we were talking about this earlier, like they're like, why would you do that?
Yes.
That's weird. Like,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Like I don't expect my friends to have all the same interests as me.
No, and that makes life like not that exciting if everyone has the exact same interests at the exact same time.
Yeah.
You want a little bit of diversity within your friendship. You want those different elements of people having different interests and hobbies
Yes.
and just things that excite them and bring them joy. Like that's
Exactly.
what makes friendship what they are.
As an example, one of my best friends is like really, she lives kind of a farm life, I will
Mhm.
say. Like, not like a huge farm, but she has chickens, and she's gonna laugh when she hears this episode, and she has cows and all of those things. I grew up on a farm. That's not my life. I would not want to do that.
Right.
She freaking loves it. She like is giving eggs to her community. She's brought me eggs, which I also love.
I bet they're good though too.
They were so good. But I'm like, I love that for you because that's what you've been dreaming of. That's
Yeah.
the life you're trying to build for your family. And I'm so freaking happy for you that you can
Agreed.
do that. But if you have a friend who's like, I don't get why you do that.
Yeah.
I don't know why you do that. Like,
Like why are you doing this? Like why do you do that? Like couldn't you just do something else?
yeah, that's weird.
Pick me.
Pick me. That is like one of my favorite phrases that have from like the last, like, I don't know,
I
5 years.
know. It
Pick
is
me energy.
such pick me energy.
It really is. Because
Because
it's
who are you impressing at this point?
truly like, why are you fitting me in a box?
Like I thought we were friends.
Yes. And then you feel
Mm,
like you can't tell them about your things you're
yeah.
excited about
And
because they're going to think it's weird.
exactly. And I remember a moment in a friendship where I realized I need out because that exact moment happened where I felt like I couldn't talk to this person about things that I was going through, things that were exciting me because they just didn't care.
Mm-mm.
They never asked about me. And anytime we were on the phone, it was very much me, 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 me. And I'm like sitting there listening because I feel like I'm a good friend.
Yeah,
But
you are.
I thank you. But I would try, even me trying to like interject and say something like related to what she's maybe talking about,
Yeah.
it got shut down.
Well, and it starts to put you almost in a defensive state where you're
Yes.
trying to like justify the things that make you happy
Yeah,
or justify just your lifestyle or whatever it is that they're like
I agree.
pooping all over.
Just, I just don't like that kind of behavior. And
Me either.
now that I'm older and if I see that and I recognize that, I cut it immediately.
Yeah.
It's just, there's just no place in my life for people who don't want to see me succeed because I want to see them succeed.
Yeah.
I cheer on all of my friends. They will listen to this and they know that I cheer on all of my friends
Yep. Same.
and I want them to do the same for me.
Yeah.
It's
And I don't
yeah.
think so I have had some breakups where I've expressed that. right? Where I've
That
been
exact
like,
thing.
hey, I don't feel like you're giving me what I give you. And they've claimed that I'm holding things over their head or I'm tit for tatting.
Yes.
And I finally was just kind of like, you know what? If I am, then I am. That's who I am. I do
Right.
expect a level of give back. And if
Yeah.
you can't do that, I'm not going to keep giving. And like that's fine. It doesn't that is what it is.
Yeah.
But like for me, I have to step away from those.
I agree with that. I don't think that's unreasonable at
I
all.
don't either.
I feel like that should just be the standard in a friendship, that like if I'm giving you this energy of cheering you on being there, I would expect that same energy back.
Literally. And also like I feel like as we're talking about this feels so obvious and like it's like, well, duh. Like but it's not always like that straightforward. Like when you're in the moment and experiencing those things, sometimes you're just kind of like, oh, they're being annoying today. But then it's like repetitive over time. And then sometimes it can be hard to make that decision.
It is.
Right?
Because at that point you feel like you've invested so much in that friendship that you're like, is it time? Do I need to? Like, how am I going to feel after this?
And how do I do it?
How do I do it?
I think that so we talked about the fade away, but then there's also the explosive breakup.
Let's get into it. Let's get into the explosive breakup, because those ones are fueled by something that might have already built up, and then it just one day it explodes and then everything comes out.
Yeah. It's like you've been thinking about it for a while kind of thing.
Like, what do you do in that situation?
I don't think I'm the one to give advice on that. I will say that my least graceful ex involved screaming, crying, leaving the room, the apartment with a suitcase. It was almost like a relationship breakup that was really toxic, and just like cutting out completely. I've had others that are a little bit more like I was saying earlier, a little bit more like, hey, let's call this what it is. This is done. I'm done. This is how I feel, and I'm done. But you know, as Taylor Swift says, I didn't have it in myself to go with grace. One of my favorite Taylor Swift lines.
That's such a good one. That's such a good one.
Yeah.
For me, I think about it and I'm like, not that I don't know that I've ever had an explosive breakup, but I've definitely had ones that like ended in people blocking each other for sure.
Oh yeah.
And I think that is still a level of a blow up, because while it wasn't like yelling, going back and forth, that's still like, you've cut this off and it's done. It's done.
Done.
And that's okay.
Yep.
Because, and I had told you this, I was ready to exit that friendship, but the same thing, I'm trying to figure out how to get out of it.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I wasn't getting what I needed out of the friendship, because I felt like I was putting in so much effort, so much time, you know, doing all of these things for this person, that like I was done. I was exhausted. And so when it came down to it and I'm blocked, I'm like, okay, I can block you too.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, we're done. That's it. And I don't regret it at all.
No.
That was something, and I had told you about it earlier. Like I needed to be out, because I knew that wasn't serving me. I wanted to make room for other blessings in my life to come in. And that was just one friendship that needed to end. So
absolutely. I think that's right. Like when sometimes and sometimes it's like you're looking for that trigger point to like happen, as like sometimes it makes it easier. The blow up isn't always hard. Sometimes it's easier.
It is. And that's exactly what happened to me. I had a trigger moment that was like, this is it. This is my out. Take it now. Like it was clear as day that I had to take this. And so that's what it was. And ended just with a couple of text messages and then a block.
I will say that the one thing for me, and I think because I'm the kind of person who bottles up a lot, and like we were talking about how I'm not in the same place I necessarily was in the past. Like I do think that expressing how you feel is really important. And the one regret I do have, I would say, maybe not regret, but what I would do differently in the future is try to express that more explicitly, even though I don't like those awkward conversations. Right. I don't think it would have turned out any differently. Yeah. Which is why maybe I don't regret how it happens. But in the future, I do want to be more vocal about what I expect out of friendships, because it just, everyone knows where everyone's at.
Exactly. And we're at this age now, like being in our 30s, like we should just know to be able to continue to express ourselves. Yeah. And have those boundaries set up in place. And that's why boundaries are so important.
Mm-hmm.
So if they are crossed, or if there's something that gets a little bit, wishy-washy, you can address it right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
And they either accept that and they'll say like, I'm sorry for crossing this boundary, whatever,
Yeah.
or it blows up and
Yeah.
it's like, well, I can't fix this. Like,
yeah. Because like if a friend comes to me and tells
Yes.
me I've hurt them in some way,
Oof.
I'm not gonna be defensive. I'm
No.
gonna oh my gosh, I am appalled that I did that. I'm so
Yes.
sorry. Like,
That
because
hurts me.
yeah, I
Yes.
didn't want to be that kind of friend. Like,
No.
and like plug, if any friend feels like I have hurt them, like tell me, like, let's talk about it, because I don't
Absolutely.
want to do that. I don't want to be that
I
kind of
agree.
friend.
I'm very much someone who likes to have those conversations. I'm
Yeah.
not passive aggressive. Like it sounds funny. Like, not that I'm like confrontational, but I like to just confront things head on. I like to have those
Easier.
Yes.
It's direct
It's
feedback.
direct. I'm direct. So
I would, okay, let's say if a man was describing this conversation, would they ever refer to themselves as confrontational? No, they would call themselves direct. So we as women should do the same
We
thing,
are.
personally.
Agreed. Yes. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page about our friendship. And if we're not, tell me what I've done wrong so I can correct that.
Yep.
And I would do the same thing for them.
Love that. Love that. So let's talk about how it feels after the breakup. Like because I think that's the fear sometimes for people for breakups is like, am I going to regret this? Am I going to like feel sad about this?
Right.
Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's two parts. I think there's one part then you feel like you might regret it, but the other part is a sense of relief. And in the case of the one that I had, it was a sense of relief because I already had in my mind that I was ready to end the friendship. It was just a matter of timing and when. So the sense of relief I got was, okay, I can now be in a place where I can improve my relationships that I've had around me, the ones that I truly want to put in the time and energy into. But the other side of that is, it's hard.
Yeah.
It can be really hard. So
yeah, I think for me, I've never walked away from a situation and regretted it later, to be point blank.
Yeah.
I have had moments where I'm like feeling nostalgic and reminisce about an old friendship. And I'm like, oh, like we did have good times.
Like thinking about them, checking in, like, oh, I hope they're okay. Like that's one side of that. Yeah.
But never a situation where I'm like, man, I shouldn't have left that friendship. Literally ever.
I've never had that thought.
I way more often have the feeling where I hear a story about that person having other friendship struggles. And I think, that is some validation.
And you knew. You're like, uh-huh.
Yep, don't miss that. Like,
not at all.
Absolute validation. I did the right thing. No regrets.
Absolutely.
I walked away and I'm so glad that I did.
I've had situations like that where I've ended a friendship and I've told another friend about it who was also friends with this person.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't want to influence you. You will make the decision for yourself, because even though they did something to me, if they didn't do anything to you, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like, just know what they did to me and you can make your own judgment for that. Come to find out, they got screwed over and they're like, huh, you were right. And I'm like, yeah.
That's also such an interesting, like, fine balance of like when the friendship breakup happens with someone who's friends with other people in your circle, like the want to not be the one who talks crap, but also like wanting to tell your story. I think I used to err more on the side of, you know what, I'm going to be the bigger person. And I've come to a place where I'm like, you know what, this actually happened. I'm not making this up. And so it's my story too. And I'm going to talk about it if you wronged me. Like, and if you feel angry that I'm telling other people how you wronged me, then you shouldn't have wronged me.
Right.
Like,
then you know that you actually did something bad.
That's
because
on
if you can own up to like, yeah, I did kind of mess up, then that's one thing. But like, if you're being defensive about that, okay.
Yeah. But I know what you mean, where it's like a balance, because I'm like, I don't want to influence you. I'm not gonna like be mad that you're friends with this person, but like, this is what happened.
Yes. And I say it as like just a little cautionary tale of like, this is what happened. But again, I'm not gonna tell you can't be friends with them. Like, I don't control friendships. I don't control friends like that.
And it is a compatibility thing, right?
Yes. I agree with that.
So I guess, I think we've hit all the things related to
I think so too.
Friendship breakup. So now that we've come to an end, we do like to close out every episode by sharing the last drop of tea for the day. Stephanie, what is the last drop of tea today?
Yes. So not every friendship is meant to last for a lifetime. Some enter your life for a specific purpose or a specific season. but it's okay to let those exit your life because there will always be something better that comes along.
I love that. I love that. All right. We will see you all on the next episode.
See you next time.